I compared all the popular LED masks so you don't have to.
What's absolutely mind-blowing to me is the lack of information on these websites for LED masks, and especially the really popular ones that everyone is buying. I ended up reaching out to brands because I was so curious about the specifications despite the cost of their mask. My first LED mask was the Dr. Dennis Gross mask, and I just got super lucky. It turns out it has really good specifications without researching, which I probably should have done. I was recently sent the Cure mask, which also has good specs, so I just have gotten really lucky. When I was researching LED masks for everyone in my comments, it was just blown away by the lack of information that is out there on some of them, and they're like $500. I ended up making this buyer's guide for those who are new to LED masks and want to buy one but don't know where to start. I have some information that I want to go over. When you look at specs on each mask, it can be very confusing. So the first thing that you want to look for is the irradiance. You're going to want to go for a mask that has a higher irradiance. And what is irradiance? I'm going to explain it to you. It is essentially the power density of the LED lights. And you'll usually see it with this formula behind a number. Normally I would just see those numbers and I would scroll past it. They are arguably one of the most important parts of a mask and how effective it is.
I've been using this mask by Rxmoore. It also has an irradiance of 80 watts per square meter. That means the level of light it has, and honestly, compared to the other masks that I have been reviewing the past few months, that is one of the highest that I have found so far.
To explain more in depth about the number of LEDs versus the irradiance, here is a picture that I have created. Left, you see more LEDs in this mask with less irradiance in them. This essentially means that it has a lot of LED lights, but they are not strong. Just because there is more does not mean that they are penetrating more. On the right, you see less LEDs plus more irradiance. This means that each individual LED is super strong. It's going to penetrate the skin even more, producing optimal skin absorption. By common beliefs, the most important parts of a mask is the irradiance and the wavelengths for each color spectrum. High quality LEDs are defined by their precise output range. Say that you see 660 nanometers for red light on a mask. Behind it says plus minus 5. It essentially means that the wavelength could range from 655 to 665, as 660 is in the middle of +5 and -5. That means that it has a very precise range. What you don't want to go for is buying a mask that says 700 to 800 nanometers, because that means it could fall anywhere between the 700 and 800, which is not precise, leading to potentially a less effective treatment. High quality LED lights are going to be those that have that precise range that can tell you exactly what the wavelength ranges between. The Therabody, for example, emphasizes that it has triple the amount of LED lights, but it doesn't tell you the nanometers for each wavelength. So those wavelengths could maybe not be precise, maybe they are, but the point is, just because it has more LEDs does not make it better. It could be really crappy LEDs. Quality LED lights equals better. Research emphasizes that it really comes down to the irradiance and the nice wavelengths rather than the amount of LEDs. So ignore the amount of LEDs. Ignore seeing that it has 600 LEDs and therefore it is better, because that is not always the case. This would be wavelengths. For example, different skin concerns spawn different wavelengths within each color. For amber light, you're going to want to look for a mask that ranges from 590 to 630 nanometers. That's going to help with reducing photo aging. Red light, which ranges from 630 to 700 nanometers. Promotes skin rejuvenation. There is infrared light. Optimal range is 800 to 1200 nanometers. Good for wound healing. There are different subcategories within red light. Red and deep red. Red would be anti-inflammatory. Deep red reduces scars and wrinkles. Near infrared would promote wound healing. People use sauna infrared blankets. I use one personally after the gym when I lift weights so that I can heal my muscles and I don't feel as sore.
I specifically love this one because it has blue light, and blue light is good at killing bacteria, which is what causes acne in the first place. Blue light also penetrates the skin, which reduces inflammation. However, you do want to be careful with blue light and use it sparingly. I use it when I have breakouts or I feel like I'm going to break out. So for example, tonight I'm definitely going to be using it because I am breaking out on my forehead. If you use blue light too much, it can worsen your hyperpigmentation, so I use it sparingly. It also has red light, which penetrates deeper into the skin, which promotes collagen. It also reduces inflammation, which is good for acne. It's also really beneficial for those with rosacea. Then it also has violet light, which combines the properties of red and blue, overall brightening your complexion because it is clearing the acne and reducing inflammation and redness, also promoting collagen and reducing the appearance of wrinkles.
Red is not going to be visible by the naked eye, as red is going to be. Commercial LEDs are definitely not as effective as office treatments that you get in med spa because they have a lower irradiance. Next thing you're going to want to look for is that it has FDA clearance, as a mask might be too strong for using it at home. Why they have strong masks in office. So the FDA clears it based on the safety without a doctor. Next is my absolute favorite factor of all of this, which would be cost. Some of the masks that I have been researching can't justify the cost, and there are certain things that make up the cost. I can justify for some of the more expensive ones. If you see that a mask has quality LEDs, meaning the more precise wavelengths, it has a range of wavelengths offering more benefits, it has been FDA approved, and when I say FDA approved, there is a reason it can make something more expensive. To go through submission processes, application fees, testing for safety and efficiency standards, additional research to support the claims that they are making on their website. So the FDA is really nailing them down and saying, hey, this doesn't match with what you're saying, provide me the research. And with research comes a cost. They have to spend a lot of money to go through research. So if a mask says that they are claiming all of these benefits, but they don't have the research to back it up, and they are not FDA approved, and they are really expensive, that is probably not a mask that I would personally buy. This would be design and comfort issues, finding high quality materials so that they last longer. That's obviously going to be more expensive to produce. Battery life, having a quality battery that lasts past a year. There are some masks that I've seen not last past a year or two. App integration. So for example, my Cure mask has an app that goes along with it. So with that also has to come app development. Pay those people to produce the app. There are just a lot of factors that contribute to the price. It's not just that they are trying to get more money out of you. Research. I really want to emphasize on the research aspect because research is not cheap. It takes time and money to do this. The development of testing phases, clinical trials, that is a big one. You have to find people who are willing to participate in their trials, and they often probably want to be paid for those trials. I know you might be wondering, okay, I have all this information, great, now what do I do with it? That is why I've literally spent the last 2 days coming up with a spreadsheet comparing all of the most popular masks I could think of. I literally sorted it out so that you could filter out certain things that you want, sort it from highest to least. Also, what I found with this process is the lack of information that is put there on websites. Despite how popular those products are, people are buying these products without really truly knowing the specifications behind them. All they know is that it is really popular and it's expensive, so that probably means that it is high quality, and that might not be the case. Take this spreadsheet with a grain of salt. That I found through blogs or videos is a starting point for you. Some of it says not available because either they don't have that feature or because I couldn't find if they have that feature. I've tried to make your life easier comparing them, and honestly I was really shocked by seeing popular masks that are actually crap. I'm going to put this in my link in bio. Download it and upload it as your own Google Doc and use the filter option to drop down and select different features that you want. I hope this helps. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions.
Out of all my masks, this is probably one of my favorites because it is so flexible. I love using this one when I travel, and it is just really comfortable overall. And it is a fairly reasonable price for the effectiveness. It has one of the highest irritance levels out of all the masks that I have found for the price that it is. It's definitely worth checking it out, and if you want to check it out, I have a link in my bio for $60 off.